You got a trail, the whole network. Why?
Well, that's where the four-way lives.
You guys?
Yeah, and there's a little beach down here. A little trail.
Yeah, all right. Number 3, create a walkable community. Better or worse than your first version?
I actually thought they did better, but they still had, our group had a cluster way out here. There's no way they're walking into town. So,
Most of them are pretty
I
good.
think Barrel Sugar from
Oh, they can live off the land.
Yeah. All right, walkability for you guys, group 2. Group 2, how's your walkability?
Pretty good. We've got some trails down here that walks down to the lake for recreational opportunities, and we actually put a trail along here as well.
All right.
You can't see it, but
All right.
and then of course you can walk along the sidewalk with roads.
Yeah, all right. All right, walkability group 3?
Yeah,
Pretty good?
small lots are a lot easier to connect into the city. You know, it's over 1.2.
How many of your lots back up to open space? Looks like every one of yours. Most of yours. You got a few along the road there, I guess, but most of yours. Most of yours too.
Most of these.
Yeah.
I assume this is city.
A lot of them. So maybe those on that side not so much, but most of the other ones do. So as far as walkability, you got direct access to go out and take a hike in your backyard. Or economic
We're
activities.
gonna tell our city councilman to do that.
What's that?
We're gonna tell our city councilman to go do that.
That's your prerogative. How about economic activities? You got the resort, you have the sugar bush,
We got the sugar.
you got everybody cutting those maples.
And we're attracting fisher people.
You're attracting fisher people? Yeah. Or maybe they were attracting before, but they get to keep coming?
Yep.
Yeah. There's possibility of forest management now, because you have a big enough piece of land that you can actually manage the forestry. 5 acres just doesn't cut it. You can cut firewood on it, but you're not gonna log it for economically. So you got some economic activities, say there. So overall, it sounds like you were better able to achieve your community's goals with this scenario. Do you agree?
Yes.
All right. So what's the problems with it?
Not enough tax base.
Not enough tax base. These aren't as worth as much as the bigger ones?
You sell more lots. Cracking the price higher fast. Bigger houses.
Bigger houses, you make more.
Starter castles.
Okay, so bigger houses, and that's better for,
Well, it's not better, it's that, that's what
better for the
doing.
tax base.
But that wasn't one of the goals.
It wasn't one of the goals.
All right. It's always sort of a goal somewhere.
Yeah,
So that's one of the problems. Not enough tax base, huh? We'll talk about these more later. I just want to get some of the problems out. What are other problems that you saw? People want to be on the lake, and you kept them away from the lake. But everybody has direct access to the lake. Everybody, how many? 17 plus 9 plus 5, however many that is. Everybody can walk to the lake though, right?
So too many boats, so that's the big
Well, they
one.
only
We're
did-
gonna go marina. We're going marina.
and a nice platform at the end of it.
You don't like what?
Screen porch.
People that live up here can walk down the lake. You don't like that?
Everybody has access to stuff like that. There's no access to steep.
They don't really have Lake of the Islands. Nobody owns it. But they have houses that look right down there.
What are other problems?
But too many boats, if everybody has access to the lake, you have a community slip.
That would be another issue the community would have to figure out. What are you going to do for boat? Are you going to give everybody in this whole piece of land boat access? None of them? You have a public boat launch? Call it good? I mean, that's another issue the community will have to figure out all on its own. You know, there's some of the, in this scenario here, they have 4 folks that are right on the lake in their example. So they may have direct access and have their own docks or whatnot, but none of the other ones have any people, any lots that are directly on the lake. Well, I don't know what you guys use.
These were lake.
They were lake
So
lots.
that's
Okay. Oh, great. How about,
It's a marina.
how about sewage?
You've got park for everything.
You have enough sewage?
I think so.
What is that gonna do with it? You got all those little lots on it. You can put a
They
septic
never
system on those
said
little
what
lots.
they were gonna do.
Solution is the solution.
Use your ocean lake, spread it out.
Solution.
Area
Solution.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do about that? We're gonna tap in across the street. Okay, that's an option. Maybe. It might be an option. It might be an option. Another option,
We're gonna fight.
another thing that some places have actually done.
Or have a community.
Right.
That's close to the city, right?
Yeah, Charlotte's got the right idea. And if you're not close to a city and you can't tap into a sewer line across the road, one option for places that have done conservation design like this is they can identify, and this is the nice thing about it, they can look at that whole site and figure out the best place to build septic systems and put all the septic systems. I mean, you can build a community system. The downfall of that is it's really, really expensive. And if you're just going to build a couple houses this year, a couple houses next year, it's just prohibitive. The other option is to find a community septic area, best soils over this whole 20 acres. Put all the septics there, so everybody has their own individual septic system in that community area. So you might have to do some pumping to get it there, but you know, enough times you got to pump anyway for miles and other things. And the advantage of that is you can actually find the best soil overall rather than looking for the best soil in each little 2-acre block spread out through this whole thing. And you also are able to get greater separation between septics and wells. If you got a septic and well every 2 acres, you're only going to get so far away from your neighbors or your septic system. If you can put the septic systems in one spot, and maybe you have community wells or individual wells somewhere else, you're able to get greater separation between those two things as well. So that's possible. And under conservation easement agreements, you can put septic systems in that open space. That's a possibility under those agreements. So there could be a number of different ways that you could do it, but it's possible to have smaller lots like this still on septic systems and make it work without needing to have a larger lot just for the septic.
But the town you're going in as a system, you can build it as you expand, you go to the city.
Yeah, so long as that works, yeah, that'd be fine too. But a lot of times that's not possible, or there's sanitary district boundaries that they're not willing to cross. We got one at the North Shore, they're not going to cross this road, no matter what you say or what you do. You know, so if you're looking for an alternative,
You have the lift stations in certain places.
overflow tanks or other kinds of stuff possibly, depending on your community. So any other problems, any other issues? We talked about the tax thing, or the tax issue was brought up, the value piece. I'm going to talk more about that in a bit. We talked about the sewage issue. What happens to all that open space? We got all this blank land on it. Who owns it? Who maintains it? Who can go on that land?
It depends.
It depends. TM. It
Well,
depends.
It's a city project, so I assume it would stay under the city.
It's private land.
Oh, I thought you said that it was a city expansion.
Well, this is the area they plan to expand into as far as planning. It's private land.
Then they should have covenants and association.
Covenants and association, so the association owns the land? That's what you're saying, or
Well, you said it.
private?
Right.
Yeah. There are different ways it can be done. Typically with conservation design, the land is put under conservation easement. And a common way it's done is that there is a homeowners association and they're responsible for it. There's other ways it can be done. The developer can continue to own it and have it under conservation easement. But that land is still private. That land is still private, even if it's under conservation easement and it's owned by a homeowners association or it's owned by the developer, it's still private land. It can't be developed. You can't build on it. But you don't necessarily have access to it for the public. Now, a couple of ways around that, the community can say, in order for you to build this, you have to grant public access. Or the community can say, hey, if you grant public access, you get to build another lot. Bingo. You know, that's an advantage for the developer, and it's a trade-off for the community. They're going to get another lot here, more impact. Granted, it's a smaller lot, so the impact might be less. But the advantage for the community is then they can get access to that land for everybody in their community, for the public at large. So that's one way that things can be done.